Coming up right now is a guy that I've probably talked to for the last year. Never have actually met him in person, not ever really talked. So right now we're going to talk for the first time. So I'm going to bring on Drew from Collector Displays. Drew, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Joey. I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's been a while because we've been talking back and forth for a while now, and obviously I have two of your cases, but I think the first time I saw you, you were at Echo Live. I wasn't there, but it was that point in time where I was thinking about how am I gonna display my figures, and then that's when I started researching, and I kind of stumbled upon you. But what is up, man? What's going on?
It's all good. It's all good. I feel like I might need to move my chair up a bit.
There you go.
That's probably better,
there you go. Didn't your mama teach you how to stand up tall? There you go. So you're in the UK right now.
Yeah.
And how hot is it right now in the UK?
It's hotter than the surface of the sun.
I can only imagine.
Horrible. I mean, I've got my curtains shut at the moment, but the sun is streaming through the curtains, which is why it seems maybe a little bit bright in here. It's horribly hot. But you know what? I'm not going to complain.
No. Every time I go to London or anywhere around in the UK, it's usually winter and it's foggy and rainy. But I need to visit in the summer. I was actually trying to go to Echo Live in October, right?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to make that swing. Yeah. So I can just use points, but I just need to really just dive into the Echo Live website, get my badge, and just do it.
Yeah, you've got to come. It's a great day. It's a great day.
So other than me and you talking for the first time, not the first time, like we've been rapping out for a long time, right? I mean, we're basically Instagram buddies and stuff like that. And, I've bought 2 of your cases, but here's the thing that I haven't asked you yet. How did you start Collector Displays? Like, what was the idea behind all that?
Okay, so, and you know what? I wish I was over at my storage unit the other day, and I kind of came across the first cabinet that I built, which was for me. So basically, I started recollecting about 5 years ago, and I was just going to do figures because I just always loved the figures, and I never had. Probably as a kid, I had 20 figures, maybe. I'm not one of these guys who's going to say to you, oh, I had everything. But I sold them all at a car boot sale when I was at primary school,
Yeah, same as me.
So I just thought, do you know what? Yeah, I like this. A friend of mine, Nathan Hillier, he's probably watching. Hi, mate. Reintroduced me back into it. And I started collecting the figures. And I got to about, I don't know, I must have had 15 or 20, something like that. And I thought, I'm big enough and ugly enough now that this needs to go somewhere prominent. It needs to have a display. And I kind of have a background in that sort of stuff anyway. So I made myself a display case, and it was kind of an iteration of these. There was no face panel over the front.
But you made it. You made it yourself. Like you didn't go off and you find parts for it. You actually made it yourself, right?
No, I actually, So I made every single bit of it, and it looked okay. Hand painted logos and stuff like that. It looked great.
You got to bronze that. Make sure you bronze that and like.
I should do.
Like the first dollar bill you made, you got to put that as the first case. The prototype. We all know how expensive prototypes are. You got to prototype that.
Yeah. And so the thing is, it did what it needed to do, and I had then in order to make that, I developed the slot system, which is where the figure stands just slot into the back.
Yeah.
And I copyrighted that, and I thought, right, that's it. That's good. I like that. And I'd put a couple of pictures on Echo Base and a couple of other groups, and someone said, "Oh, I love the case. Where did you get that from?" And I said, "Well, I made it. Could you make me one?" And it literally is it's just gone on from there.
Well, why don't we show what we're talking about too? So this is the website for Collector Displays, and so the slot system that you were talking about, it's this right here. What we're seeing with Boba Fett, that slot system. Yeah. Can I
So
click
there's
on that?
no, yeah, so there's no shelves. I had seen some cases made previously where they had shelves, and the shelves were a bit bendy and they just looked a bit clunky. And I thought there's got to be a way to get this cleaner so
Yeah.
that the light can really fill the cabinet. So I figured there's got to be a way to do this. So I found a machinist that could get some really nice, absolutely perfect grooves in the back. As long as my artwork was okay, it was all going to be fine. And they're just brilliant now. The way when you put them all in, they just line up. You can put your eye down it, and they're absolutely perfect all the way down. You know, not kind of up and down.
Check out this Vader. This is one that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. So
That was actually.
Go ahead.
So for that one, Joey, I actually took a picture of my display case, my Vader case.
Here, let me put you up there.
Made the screen frame.
Yeah. So how long from, like, this is what I've always wanted to ask you. How long from conception to actually going to market does it take you to do these?
About 6 to 8 weeks. There's quite a long production process because there's no vinyl graphic involved. This is all printed directly onto UV perspex.
Yeah.
So that nothing can be, once it's made and mounted, nothing can be damaged. You can't scratch the print off on the back panel, and so yeah, it takes a while.
So one thing that I do wanted to ask you is that you're in the collecting community, and you're a collector yourself. So it starts off as and you don't mind me asking these questions. It starts off as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
When does it turn into this? I want to make this a career. Like I want to really put my eggs in a basket and try this out.
So basically, it turned into a career when I had no choice. So I was an architect prior to this.
Oh, cool. Okay, well that explains the design process.
So, but I was just freelance. So I would work for a project. I was doing hospitals and things like that. So these were big projects that would take 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
And it would be solid work and it would be great. But then you'd have a gap where there would be like 2 months with nothing. And it just wasn't working out, right? So I was trying to do the cabinets in the downtime, but the cabinets just there was just more and more and more and more to do. So
that was like a side business. You had your architect firm or architect freelance.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you decided to go full time doing this and putting all in,
yeah,
did your family think you were crazy? Like, what was your family's reaction? Yeah. I mean,
it was a big risk. It was a really big risk, but I've never been much of a high risk person. So although it was a risk, I was pretty confident that in the groups that I was in, the Facebook groups and within the community, everyone had already given me lots of support. And I kind of thought, even if I only do it for a year, I know I've got enough business to kind of take me through the first year.
Well, that was something that kind of you talk about community. When I was looking at, what case am I going to get? And it was a process for me because I wanted something that, I was going to enjoy, not just, was it durable? Is the design obviously cool? Is it going to fit what I think my run is? But the aspect that I didn't think about was, is this person in the collecting community and does he understand collectors? And is that person a collector? Didn't cross my mind until I saw you over at Echo Live last year.
Yeah.
And you were showcasing your cases, and that was the one thing that caught my eye. But then it was like your interaction with the community, right? Overseas and over there where you are. That was really cool.
Well, to be completely honest with you, the order that all the figures go in now on most of my cases was absolutely from the community. It was what everyone wanted. It wasn't what I wanted.
What did you want?
So my first case was in the same order as on the back of a 79 back card.
Okay.
So it was kind of just as it was on the back, on the yellow, with kind of prune face being number 1, So mine was like that. And then the guys were saying, do you know what? I like Kenner release order, or I like how they appear in the films. And what I did was looked and weighed up between who wanted more of one thing. And in the end, the Kenner release order won. And that just has carried through on all of the others now.
Yeah, because me being the weird Virgo that I am, the one like who wants to follow in order. I mean, you guys have all seen my spreadsheets are ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the order that I wanted too, was the release date. Because when people come over to my house, or my studio, not my house, my studio, and they see the setup, the first thing they go to is that case. And then they start looking. They don't just look at the case and say, "Oh, that's cool." They start looking at the figures, and they go through each and every figure. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know he was Greedo. I didn't know his name was Hammerhead." So people who don't care and don't know about this stuff, they're actually like looking over, like if they're looking in a museum and saying, "Oh, I remember this when I was a kid." It's kind of cool.
It's not that they don't care. They don't think they care until they see it.
Right. Exactly. And the thing I like about it is that it turns your collection into a centerpiece. That's what I really wanted. It turns it into
and
a
it
centerpiece.
should be. These figures are as old as we are.
Yeah.
They deserve to be looked after.
So I'm gonna go back to your website because I think what I want to talk about is all the different things that you have to offer.
Yeah.
It's not just these cases right here, which are amazing. So different configurations, because I went with the case that I have because that's what I wanted for my wall.
Yeah.
But you have ones that are different shaped, which is cool. Like these right here, the horizontal and verticals, which are thinner.
Yeah.
Which work a lot for people's doorways or
Exactly. These things have evolved and they've been designed to suit specific needs. What I don't or try not to do is just, if someone says, "Can you do this?" I don't immediately just say, "Of course I can." What I try and do is I will design something specific as long as I feel like there might be more people that could use that.
Yeah.
So no idea is a bad idea, and those slimline cases were designed specifically for a space that one person had. But I thought, actually, do you know what? That is something that other people are going to need. So that's when it becomes a full offer,
Also, I'm stuck right here because I see a Motu item.
Yes.
And so it's just not, action figures for a certain line. You do action figures for a lot of lines. And I also see that there is a wrestling case up there as well. Yeah. But you can use these in any configuration. Like there's the yellow that, you can use for Star Wars figures, but you can use it for whatever you really want, right?
Yeah.
And then
there's an Indiana Jones one there as well.
So what I wanted to do for people out there who don't know where my journey started, and in case you didn't watch the first episodes, I want to take you back through a little clip that kind of shows my journey of getting the first case. And it's actually the case that I'm giving away. So that's why I wanted to show this. So here is a little clip of me getting your case, building it, and then, here, I'll stop talking about it. I'll just show it. All right, everybody, look what we got today. We're going to open it. We're going to put it together. We're going to review it. And hopefully by the end of the episode, we're going to be loading up some figures.
Okay, so this is our display from Collector Displays. And he said that all we needed was these tools right here. So we have our cooking shears that we're going to use to, cut things open. A hammer, Allen wrench, set, flathead screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. Ooh, look at this. So these are all the sides. It smells like freshly cut wood. Whoa! Check this out. Huh? Hey, Joey. Number 2 in the USA. May the force be with you always. Drew. We could have been number 1, but if we were number 1, I'd be really nervous because then that means we'd be the USA guinea pig. I'm happy to be number 2. Thank you, Drew. Screw the top panel to that panel using the 32mm black screws. So these are the black 32mm screws. All right, so let's go ahead and do the bottom panel. The arm workout. I'm gonna have Popeye arms after this. But how cool is this? In about an hour, we are gonna be putting these Star Wars figures in this case. All right, one more panel to go. The instructions are pretty easy. We're taking off the film. Yay, oh, there it is. We did it. Put it up again. Beautiful. It's really coming together now. All right, so we're doing this all the way around. If you're doing this, do have plenty of light. All right, so here is the panel that goes on top.
All right, so here it is, our case in all its glory. And it didn't take that long to set up. It was easy instructions, easy to follow. All you had to do was read the instructions, put the LED light on there. But now, there's 2 more things left to do. 1, turn on the lights. Now let's put those figures inside. Fun case, fun build. I had a lot of fun. So
I still love watching that video.
I was so goofy, man. I was so goofy. It was cool though. It took like, if I didn't have the cameras running, it would have taken me like 45 minutes. But I kept on changing camera angles and stuff like that. So it actually took me about 2 hours to do. Yeah. But I had a camera. It would have taken me like 45 minutes because everything is just like laid out right there, which is what I like about it. And then what I wanted to talk about too was the shipping. You don't ship overseas fully built. You ship it like you saw there in that.
Exactly. Yeah. I did to begin with. I didn't ship overseas at all because there was a whole can of worms with how much it was going to cost and everything else. And I thought, let's take it slow. Let's start off slow, and then I had to change the whole design really of the case to make it something that could flat pack and get it within certain size parameters to be able to get it shipped. And that took another 3 or 4 months to develop to get that right. But there was so many people overseas, your countrymen over there were just saying, please, can we have these? But you just wouldn't be able to do it fully assembled. It would end up with more bits than it started off at.
No, plus that would, in my mind, that would kind of, I don't want things broken. Like when I get things graded and they're in big cases, I'm like, I pray to, and that's a small acrylic piece that it doesn't crack. I can only imagine being worried about a full case, fully built.
Yeah. And you can imagine how it would feel from my point of view.
Exactly.
Waiting for the call to say it's arrived, but it's completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So I had to get that sorted first.
So just for people who are joining now, I'm talking to Drew Tegg from Collector Displays, and here's his website right here, collectordisplaysuk.com. We've been going over his website. We've been talking about how he started, and I want to go back to when and why you started. When you did see it pick up and when you did see this, start to become a thing, were you automatically saying, all right, what's next?
Well, do you know what? To begin with, actually, it was such a shock at how quickly it was picking up. I kind of didn't have time to think. It was just right, go, get it right, get it done. And it's only really over the last maybe 6 to 8 months that I've been able to start thinking about other things that I feel are needed in the community, but also what people have been asking me for. So all the time. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff. So I'm constantly getting messaged about things, and it's one of those where I could say yes to everything and I'd never have time to do anything. But there are more and more people that were after vehicle cases. Not, to be fair, there are perfectly good, in fact, fantastic cases for boxed vehicles already there.
Well, the ones, and I'll be honest, the reason why I went with your company, and I don't want to feel like you're not paying me to say anything. No. I'm not an employee of yours. I don't even get stuff for free. So
I probably should, but
yeah, I mean, if you want to give me something for free, sure, I'll take it. But I do not. I have bought every single case that I have purchased with my own money. I don't get anything for free. So the one thing that I did want to say is that, you listen to us, but the other thing that you do is that your interactions is what was cool. So here's the main selling point. I hate saying that word. When I was researching the cases, and there are some good cases out there, they were 3 times the cost.
Yeah.
The one that I wanted to get was $1,600 before shipping.
Yeah.
And I think I had to add some things in there too. It wasn't totally complete. So that was the one thing. But and the other thing I like about your case is that the shield is UV protected. Yeah. I think that was the big selling point. I just didn't want a glass case that let all the UVs in, because I do have. Yeah. Sorry,
and that's so to start off with, the cases weren't UV. They were. It was just a 2 millimeter clear acrylic that wasn't UV, and the price was a bit lower even then. Back then, I was charging for a flat pack about 400 quid. So when I found an adequate UV material, the price just had to go up, because the UV material is massively expensive, but
that was the selling point for me.
It has to be, because what's the point really in doing it otherwise?
Yeah, because I have a blue snaggletooth in there. I have the yak face. Eventually, I'm going to have a vinyl cape Jawa in there, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it's like when you get those figures I think anything above $200, anything above $100, it needs to be protected. Like, the figures that are like $20, okay, I can replace it if I lose it, or if it gets sun damaged. But the ones
if you look at not necessarily the price, but if you take, for example, a layer organa, if you've got a really nice mint layer organa that's pure white, it's over here. I don't know what it's like over there, but over here, you're probably looking at about 95, 100 quid, something like that.
Right. And there's a lot of people who don't want to grade it. They're not into grading. Like if I had a pristine white layer, I would grade her and I would get a replacement in that case.
I've got the best layer I've ever seen in that case. I don't need to grade it because it's in a giant grading case.
Right. And that's why that's the only reason why I feel comfortable about putting, a blue snaggletooth in there, which gets green after a while, is because the UV thing. But so here's what I want to do. Talking about what's next. I know that you have something that is next, right?
Yes.
Do you mind if I right there? Do you mind if I show a clip? And for everybody inside the chat, here's what I want to do too. So I'm talking to Drew right now. We're about to get into his new case system, which I'm excited about because I have things like my Ahsoka Tano 6-inch, which I'm getting into. If you guys haven't seen that unboxing, go check it out. I know I do a lot of vintage, but I'm starting to get into more modern things. Like this company just sent me some lightsabers, so I get to review lightsabers now. I get to review like hot toys now. So there's going to be a lot of different things that are coming up, and for me to display these things right now, they're just sitting on a shelf. So yeah, let's get into it. Here's a clip that kind of goes over the new offerings from Drew. this is sweet right here. And will this fit like other things like a snow speeder and things
Well,
like that?
so the way you have to look at the product is that this is not specifically a Star Wars or a vintage Star Wars. It's
Okay.
the basis of the whole design is to take vintage Star Wars, but again, it's just to start off with. The fact is, you could use these for anything.
Yeah.
But the idea is that
that I want to put in one of these.
so these are semi-custom. So
Great.
the problem that I found with trying to find acrylic cases for my own stuff is that you could either get something at a fixed size that was pre-built and would cost a fortune to be shipped, or you could get smaller stuff that was a bit rickety and wasn't really right. So I've come up with a system whereby the interlocking panels can be used either way. So they can be used that way or that way, because the system is designed on 100mm increments.
Okay.
So the idea is that I will have probably a dozen or so standard offers, which are, like you can see on screen at the minute, the ATAC case, with the Hoth scene, but you could change the Hoth scene out for an Endor scene or whatever, really. But also you can also just build your own box. So once the website's finished, you'll be able to go on there. And so let's say you want to house your tape measure. I don't know why you would, but you might want to. So you measure your tape measure, and then you go to the next 100mm increment up. And you say, right, the width is this, the depth is that, height is that, and I'm getting the website set up so that it just chucks out. Right, so you need this panel, this panel, this panel, this panel. You get to choose your graphic. You get to choose the nameplate.
Oh yes, well here it is right here. It's not just for action figures. Right here you have
Exactly.
This is a store display, right? A Nintendo store display.
This is this is a vintage Nintendo game switcher. So you used to be able to get, back in the day, this beautiful box where you could put kind of like 9 or 10 or 12 games in it, and you could switch between them. It's an absolute classic.
Awesome.
And someone asked me if I could do a case, and I thought, well, I'm just developing this at the moment, so I need prototypes, so why don't I just make one for them? So that was part of the whole prototype process, really.
Yeah, and I really dig the nameplate, and that comes with it, right?
Yeah, and you get to type in what you want on the nameplate, because I laser etch them in my workshop, so you could put in whatever you liked.
That's amazing.
So the smaller cases, it's a nameplate that comes with adhesive on the back, and you can stick it wherever you like. But the larger cases, like the ATAC one you can see behind me, clear acrylic stand as well, so you can put them in the case and move them around wherever.
When do these start? When is there a pre-order, or when do these start?
So the website is probably 1 to 2 weeks away from being finished, and as soon as the website's finished, there can be pre-orders put in place. My stock is being produced at the moment. As you can imagine, with all the different sizes, there's a lot of panels, and I've actually had to just get a new storage unit in order to fit the stock into that is being delivered. So that is currently happening, but as soon as I'm able to take pre-orders, I will be doing the Instagram, the Facebook, and letting everyone know that it's ready.
There was a question earlier that I wanted to get to, and I don't know if it was for the mod box kit or for the cases, but I'm assuming it was for the cases. You can hang them, or there's stands for them, right? So you don't have to hang them on the wall, right?
This is those cases. Or these. So these cases, you can. I do a conversion stand for them, so they can be mounted onto a tabletop.
Okay, cool.
The stand is designed specifically to take the depth of all of my cases.
Awesome.
So you can order a stand, and you can have it on. You could put it on a little IKEA unit like this, without having to fix it to the wall. So it's great for people who are in rented property who aren't allowed to fix into the wall and that kind of thing.
So Drew, can you show the bee wing behind you? Yeah, show us some.
Let me I'll bring them a bit closer.
So hold on, let me configure this so that way you're on the screen. There you go.
Okay, so there you go.
There we go. That's gorgeous, man.
So that's a custom graphic that I've drawn up to go in the back of that one. But it's a choice of, at the moment, about 5 to 6 different graphics that you could have behind. But there's also, so if I show you this one, this is actually my favorite, to be honest.
And Drew, real quick, say hi to DJ.
Hey, hi, how you doing?
Hi, CJ. Hey, Derek. Or Darren.
So there you go. So basically what you end up with is something that can be a diorama. So it's not just an acrylic case. You've got a label, you've got grass effect on the base, end-all background.
And if you don't want any of that, you don't have to choose that, right?
No, you can just have it clear. I mean, obviously it's the more stuff you have in it,
yeah,
the price goes up, but you could just have it as a clear box and it's going to UV protect.
That's
cool.
Keep
the dust off, all of that stuff.
Yeah, because the shelf systems I have right now, I like seeing the background. I like seeing the light come through from the back.
Yeah.
So I probably won't buy the backgrounds because I like seeing that silhouette and I like seeing like the light come from the back.
Yeah.
But
and I think, to be honest, with because I think you were interested in the Falcon case, and that one, I probably wouldn't have a back on that anyway because it's only about 300 mil high.
Yeah.
But what I would have is on the base, it will have the Death Star hangar base.
So how does the background stay on? And so in the video, which I don't want to play again unless everybody wants me to. We can take votes right now, but there's grooves in there, right? That make it stay.
So all of the side panels interlock together, and then the top panel. Let me grab one and I can show you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for anybody who has questions, keep on asking questions.
The top panel has all of these slots in, and all of the panels underneath go into these slots, and it just locks the whole thing together. So once that top is on, it's very, very stable. And the base is a timber base. It's made of the same stuff as the sides of these cases.
Yeah.
And it has a groove running all the way around. So the panels slot into there, and then this slots on top. So the whole thing is really very sturdy. Yeah,
Gary says Docu Bay 94 from Tatooine. That would be sweet. In Empire, yeah, I think an Empire one and Docking Bay 94 would be kind of cool.
What? It's going to be one of those things where I probably will develop more and more different backgrounds and floors to go in and all sorts of stuff.
So that's the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody. As always, thank you, and I will see you guys next time.
If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.